Hello. Where are we at with this? Where are we at with this? Smith's back. Dun, dun, dun. All right, yeah, we're live again. That's good. Now the tricky thing here is figuring out where we were. We didn't get a stream yesterday because the past couple days it's also been just hard to find a moment with my child who has been waking up and destroying the process of sleep. So here we are. The with all that being said, here we are, and this is good. This is good. The kind of where I left off was if I go into like the Hello World project, I run see the shell. Um, oh, see the shell with an image, which right now is local go 125.3.2.2. There we go. It works. I've got in here my go and I can run go run Hello World, and so that's all working, and that's all working with the CDEV shell uh, experience that I have. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to make that more robust now. I want it so that I can pass in an ENV here, specifically go as an example, and then this, and then when I run go, a more specific command will run. And so that go environment is controlled by this. So to name it here, that's what would that's how you'd use that. Similarly, I have these generated files that I've just mocked up. These are all mocked versions of them. But the idea would be that when you run the cdev deploy, it regenerates these files and re-sends them throughout the environment. So we have a file here to update the etc/hosts file. We can do a link to it into the container. Similarly, we can have it live locally in the computer because we're going to be using Nginx in both environments. And so when we do that, that'll allow the ability to use the nice domains to work. And so in here you can see I've got two subdomain projects, or yeah, and then a sandbox project that's so I've got three projects that are using two subdomains. And they're also using the domain and the project name as a part of it. And so one thing that I'm like, do we need this last one here? Maybe not. I kind of like it because it's like makes it clear as I'm developing who's doing what, but it's not a big deal, I suppose. Could also just get rid of that. No, I think this makes sense. But yeah, that's how that file looks. This file here would override the Nginx instance that I have locally. This one here is to map. Because if you look at those projects here, we're mapping a domain to a um, to a port so that they don't ever cross over. We don't want them to cross streams, as you say. Um, and yeah, we're doing that. And then I need the ability to also, um, I think I need this ability. Let me think here. Let me check one thing. I need the ability to potentially define a port ahead of time, but that might not be the case. What I mean by that is that some ports might be quote unquote special. That's just depending on how the code works. So if I go to this thing, I've had some projects where um, when you're serving them up, they need to be served in a special way, and um, depending on how that works, we might need the ability to have to um, override what gets generated. And so a generated file, having said that, I need the ability, and I'm just trying to think of this now, to potentially in here, but to have the ability to, for example, take this guy and say that this guy always lives at this port. And so where that lives, I don't know fully just yet. It potentially could live under the subdomains, like within the domain. You could have a thing here that says like project port. Um, yeah, something like this as an example. So let's say that we had a product. Let's call it the user. Just call it the user website. It's a bad name, but whatever. And maybe it's like host on port 8080, for example. Then over here, under products, you got this, and you have services, and here you have the array of services, and right there. And then when we're generating it, we can just see which, if there are any services that have a defined port, and if there are, then we'll override whatever port it was assigned with the port that we found here. So you can generate all the random ports and then come back and do another thing to override what was generated with what we have here. So it always generates to have the same output port. And then with all of our example files here, hopefully that wasn't necessary, but just trying to clean my stuff up. Let's do one more thing. Products. User website. Then Yeah. And then here that hasn't changed. This, we already added it. I believe that's how that works. So let me just double check, make sure that that's also valid. A2. Yeah, that's what we want. And yeah, yeah. Then the last one will be this guy. And so basically, I'm doing kind of a top-down approach where I'm saying, hey, if this was my config, could I get everything to work the way I want it to? And I believe the answer is yes. We just need to now start utilizing these files within my commands. And so currently I'm not using all of those files, but I want to be. And so what does that look like? Um, I guess the first one that I should start trying to utilize is this user config file. This one isn't generated, this one is configured by the commands that we'll have. In order to use this, I need to use the Go portion of the environment within it. And so if I specify Go as an environment, now what's interesting is that I'm doing this as an array, but I could potentially construct this as a dictionary, and that might be cleaner. I wonder if it would be. Where it's like environments in the same way that I'm doing with this format. Where I've got that value there, that value there. I could do the same thing with the config. And so rather than just having an array of environments, you have um, a dictionary of environments. One of them, each one of them is the name of the thing that you want. And so then that way, when you're looking at it, you don't have to do a for loop to find the thing you're looking for. The environment, like where you could just have a dictionary pull. And yeah, let's just see what that looks like. So is that a thing? It's not another thing on PHP. But the thing that I want to know is which is easier to work with. I mean, because I do want these to all be unique as well. Interesting. I might start pushing for that change. Same thing with the subdomains. Like this is nice, this is working, but that would remove a layer of craziness that I have to think through. Let's see if I can't just start recreating what I have here though. I might do this all in the sandbox, but like right here we've got a JSON dump of JSON decoder here, JSON load, get subdomains. And so like if I, yeah, this is where this would be really powerful, is that I could say instead of getting just subdomains, I could say get subdomains and get products. So let's go back to my sandbox. This is cool. I don't need this anymore. So I'm going to make a little archive sandbox directory. So I can go back and if I need it, have it. And what I'll do is like rename this to the today's date. Essentially what I want to figure out is just if using a different style of structure would work a little better. So let's just copy that, rename it user config sand. And yeah. So I don't care about this. I don't care about this. What I care about is a lot of this though. That, paste that, shift tab it. File name, user config, sand. Also want JSON. And args. I don't even need args here. So anywhere we're using args, let's just not worry about that. So what we're saying is we're checking to see if the file exists. If it doesn't, then we create it. And we open the file. We load it. And if it's not JSON, then we fail again. And then we try to get the domains. It's right there. And so the first thing that I want to change here with the domains is instead of them being that, I want them to be that. So instead of them being array, I'm going to have them be a dictionary. And then here, products could be that. Projects would be that. Sandbox would be that. And funny would be this. Okay. If subdomains is none, let's change that to that. I don't know how much of a difference that'll make. And then existing subdomain. We have all this fancy. Let's just change this to running. Name. And so I'm gonna make all this code in here useless. Probably go that. Let's make a new thing and hope it makes it at the right directory. Runny does not exist. Okay. What if I now say funny? It already exists, so that totally works. It's a lot easier to build too. Now my question here is, with this concept, is it any easier? I guess how magic is this get function? If I said can you get like sub elements with one command? Get method nested. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Can you do like dots in there or something like that? Come on, internet, move. Because if you could, that would be really cool. But if not, don't waste my time here. Oh, come on. Oh. So let's see. Get nested keys. And so the value with this guy, 4 key keys, d equals d dot get. I like that. I like that. Because then the value with that is that you could arbitrarily make them as long as you want. So I pop this into my sandbox. And go like this. It is user config. Right there, it's same. So because it's pulling back an empty object here. Um, existing subdomain is not none, it's an object. But at least allows me to attempt to find the value or an empty object. I guess something like this. I get an empty object like that, but then if it switches back to funny, it's going to give me the value that I'm looking for, location. So that's interesting. Let's see, we could. Do they have a for else? Okay. So let's do. Now what if I did that? Does that still work here? Oh, I need a colon. Subdomain funny does not exist. Okay, and this is working in a way that I don't know that it's. I, come on. Structurally unreachable? Okay. A little bit messy, but then I could go like this. Well, no, that doesn't really work. Hmm. Well, there's an easier way to do this. um, link with keys. 2. So just do something like this. Now that worked. Now if we do this. Let's see what happened here. So I did runny. What runny returned? Oh, let's see. Oh, wait. So keys is what I pass it. So that's dumb. Um, I guess I do that. It's not this, but cool. So now we still get the non-functionality, which is kind of nice, I think. It's just nested. So I'll even change this to get nested. So I think that's a little bit cleaner. Boom. And let's try filling here. And right here you can say, in this case, it's just subdomains does not exist. That's a nifty little function there. And I guess that's helpful for knowing for objects that should exist, and if they don't, then we have an issue, right? And so, um, the idea here is that as we're processing these files, um, having the subdomains like this, and I guess similarly, if it does exist, um, then that's its own little can of worms that we're dealing with. Okay. So my sandbox days are over. Time to come back to the run script that I've got. And now that I know this can work, I'm going to re-architect my user config as well. So first thing, let's just change how this thing's working. We're going to use this guy instead. Shapoo. As well as the same thing here. A lot of objects. And same idea down here. We're going to use this here. I'll keep it lowercase. I don't like doing unnecessary shifts. Yeah, the interesting thing here is like it feels like I'm still kind of wanting and trying to decide what I want. But I promise I'm iterating toward greatness here. Um, okay. So now if this is the object of my obsession, um, let's go back to our run script and see if we can't get it working. Update the things as we currently have them. So user config, open. Let's go to my sand function, get my new get nested. Is there a way like with Go to just attach this function to a thing? That'd be kind of cool. That's okay. I guess whatever. This will work for now. She's getting nested everywhere. Okay. And then here existing subdomains equals subdomains. Sorry, I just deleted it, but I think they had args.location. That. If that's none, then we say hey. If it's not none, then we're good. It already exists. I guess I don't care to create it if it doesn't exist. I should say, hey, look, it just doesn't exist. And call it good there. Now we're talking here. And so that I can say it exists or it exists otherwise. Oh, I guess now is when we want that other fancy logic. And and then we say this is fine. Do you need to do git on this, or could you just do the square bracket? It's right here we're assigning it like this. I think I can just do this. And then similarly, I want the name. That name. Like that. And then here, yeah, we just dump it. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. So I've got my user config. I'm going to be attempting to overwrite it. It's kind of scary. So let's just copy it and paste it with my sandbox one. Have a backup of it. But let's try running cdev run that. Let's see, invalid choice, choose from deploy shell, add domain, okay, sorry. Add subdomain. And I need a location, which is going to be um, um, runny, and I need a name, and the name will be runny. Look at that, it added it, nice and easy. That's clean. That's a lot cleaner than it was before. Cool. And so then on the remove, um, let's see if it doesn't exist. I create one. I mean, we don't need to do that, but sure. Not bad JSON, that's fine. And then here, we're gonna have a similar thing of get nested. Oh, and what is this? What is that location? I think I want that to be named, no? Yeah? Yeah, I want that to be named. I'll try running this ad again. There we go. Okay, that's better. All right. But then on the remove, um, so if this does not exist, then I say no subdomains to remove. Yeah. It's annoying. Okay, so in the situation where it does exist though, now I need to change this a little bit here. Run remove. Um, okay, so here we're copying all this stuff, which is kind of clean. Then we're just saying, hey, if it does not equal it, then we append it. Um, I guess, what are other dictionary functions? Let's see. Um, just delete. Sweet. And that was literally just um, user config, subdomains, args.name, and pop, pop, do that. So now, haha, much easier. And so this was, I think, ultimately a clean move. it's it's a good move. It's made this a lot cleaner, simpler, and yeah, I'm feeling good about that little tweak there. So let's start making some commits here. First one, um, is a git commit, and that's more like the uh, configuration, I'd say. I also want to ignore the generated, now that I'm thinking about it. Um, okay. Oh, okay. Oh no. Um, let me set Git as my default editor. Git config. There we go. So now if I do git commit event, it should run in here. Um, this guy I don't need either. The README, I've got more changes to that because I'm technically making these all lowercase. Okay, but that's still how I want that to run. Um, neat. Okay, I kind of forgot to add that part there. That's okay though. Um, what is this? Parser shall add argument container image help. Oh, I don't need that at all. That. And let's make sure I'm doing my guys. I'm new to streaming. I'm super nervous. and I am not, making as many commits as I'd like to be. So we're just gonna go with it. We've got a run shell and um, sure. So let's see, test run. What even is test run? Oh, it's to test my run packs. I should be doing test driven development. That's fair. And with that, for the readme stuff, just docs. Just some documentation. All right. So I feel really good about these changes though with the run add and the run remove. That was totally simplified. I already added stuff and removed stuff from the dictionary, and yeah, it makes the logic just a lot simpler to deal with. So I'm completely on board um, with that whole situation. I feel like that was solid. Those were solid improvements. Um, so I didn't get everything that I want to get done today, but with this change, um, it should make navigating to these other to all of these sub environments. So specifically, like when I'm running with the, all I need to do is just check to see if the Go environment exists, and if it does, and then I can use that to figure out which serve command to run or what shell command to run and what volumes to mount, in addition to what I'm doing already in the run shell. And so I can create a little list here of volumes, like in addition to this, do dash v, dash v, dash v, dash v. And that should make everything better. And so with that, time to go. Have a good